You know the website I'm talking about, the U.S. registered support animal, the emotional support animal. You know, these people who go into Walmart and Target with their chihuahuas and their dogs, and, you know, they think that they have a support dog because they went on a website, paid a $60 fee, and got a card in the mail that looks a little something like this that I'm holding up to the camera. And they get this vest here, this red vest that here says support dog. And they think that that makes their dog a service animal. About a year ago, I made a video about this, talking about making Storm an emotional support animal, for reasons that we couldn't get into the apartment we were going to move into without doing that. So I made a video, and a lot of people got really upset about that video because they didn't watch it. They looked at the title, and they didn't actually look at what I was saying in the video. So I went ahead and deleted that video, and I'm going to remake it now. In that video, I said, you know, I think that it's wrong that these apartment buildings, some apartment complexes, some living quarters restrict animal breeds because of, you know, the type of breed the dog is. And you can go ahead and get an emotional support letter from a doctor, and that voids that out, right? But that doesn't mean go on a website, pay a fee, and get this fake card. That doesn't mean you can now go into Walmart or Target or any of these places and bring your dog in there like you see people do all the time. And it definitely does not mean you can fly with your dog. This is absolutely 100% false. These U.S. registered support animals are phony, fake sites that do absolutely nothing. You know, it says ACAA compliant, FHA compliant, medical compliant. This is all fake. This is fake. You will not be allowed on an airplane just because you show this card. United States federal law, access can't be denied. That is not a federal law. It is not a service animal. There's a big difference between an emotional support animal and a service animal. Now, to make your dog to be able to get into these apartments, you have to go see a doctor. You have to get a letter. You have to go back. Your dog has to be trained. You have to pass a course. There's all types of things. And then to make your dog a service dog, it's really, really difficult. And, you know, generally it's labs and certain types of dogs, not really pit bulls and you know, chihuahuas and whatever else. So these sites... So I was wrong. Because I fell into it. I went and bought the card, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll just, you know, flash this card around and be able to get in any apartment, be able to take my dog in an airplane. I was wrong about that. So I will admit I was wrong. I didn't do the research enough. And people in the comments have got really upset about it. I lost some subscribers for it. And, you know, I was led to believe by someone who I was with at the time that, you know, it worked, and we kind of argued about that a lot because she's like, oh, we can bring the dog in. Let's bring the dog. I'm like, we can't bring the dog into a store. This is fake. This doesn't exist. I get your family did it with their dog, but what they're not understanding is that this is fake. This is not an existing thing. It's not a federal law. It's actually against the law. So there is no such thing really as a support animal. I mean, to an extent, yes, you can get your dog voided from the restricted breed process of apartment buildings, but that's about as far as it's going to go. That's about as far as it's going to go ever. You're not going to be allowed to bring your dog in an airplane. It literally is clear, cut, and dry. Unless it's a service dog and you have a service dog license, you will not be allowed to fly. Are you allowed to fly on an airplane with an emotional support animal?
According to Wall Street Journal, emotional support animals are banned on airplanes, but service dogs can still fly free.
So there you have it. You know, they're banned. They're banned on airplanes. You're not going to be allowed to bring your dog on an airplane. Right, Mama? Come here. So here's Storm. Oh, she's up. Storm is my 3-year-old American bully doggin. Hi, babies. You know, she's a good dog. She doesn't need to be restricted. She's not going to be a restricted breed, Now, I had to go to a doctor. I had to get a letter. I had to do all these things to get her to be able to bring her into the apartment, which restricts this breed. Now, my doctor diagnosed me with PTSD and a severe case of depression at the time. Now, I have to go back. I have to do this like every 3 months because he's a good doctor and he's not going to lose his license because, I want my dog. And, so you have to have some legitimate reasons here. Hi, babies. Luckily for me, it's not luckily because it was a painful thing that I went through and I still struggle with it. So it's, for me, I actually did need her. I needed the dog to be with me at that time when I, lost pretty much everything. I went through a really, really bad breakup, a domestic abuse. I had to move across the country. I lost and left everything I ever loved and known behind to come out here. Now I ended up by myself. So it was a very traumatic event, and it really jacked me up pretty good. And if it wasn't for this dog, I don't know what I would do. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go bring her to Walmart. It doesn't mean I'm going to be able to walk my dog into Target. And this card is absolutely useless. This is useless. So if you have this and you're going to go onto those websites and you're going to pay the fee and you think that you have an emotional support dog, you're wrong. It is 100% wrong. It is not a service animal. There is a difference. Now, I do know there are emotional support animals, but like I said, you have to go through a doctor. You have to get a letter like I did. You have to go through this process. It takes a little while. You have to get diagnosed with something. All right. So, there's all these things. And, so people have anxiety levels. And I understand anybody can go to a doctor and say, oh, I'm depressed. Give me this letter. People do that and they take advantage. And that was the point of the first video, is not to take advantage of this. This situation, this emotional support animal should be for one thing and one thing only. To be able to live with your dog. These apartment buildings allow animals, but they don't allow certain animals, and that's wrong. That's not right. And the loophole there is the emotional support animal. But the caveat here is you have to prove that you need the support of your animal. And what happens is the point of the video is people are taking advantage of that situation. Now, why did I bring my dog into Walmart that day? Why did I do that? I did that to show how uneducated the employees of this building were. They didn't know. I just said, hey, I have an emotional support animal. I didn't say service animal. I said, we're just going to do some training. They let me right in the door, and nobody said anything about it. So I actually educated that kid afterwards with what you didn't say. I said, what I just did isn't allowed, right? Like this isn't a service animal. He's like, oh, I didn't know there's a difference. So people don't know the difference, and that's why I'm putting this video out, because there is a difference. A support dog, this vest, it doesn't mean anything. I do like the vest. It keeps her warm. But, and my ex, we had a problem. She's like, oh, put the vest on her. We can bring her. I'm like, we can't, though. It's a bogus, phony license. It doesn't exist. It's not real. And it's against the law. And her being a journalist, you would think she'd be able to research this herself and figure this out, but she just refused to, only because it was a disagreement between us. She refused to agree with me, and that's ultimately why we are where we are now. So if you have an emotional support dog and you have this card, or you're even thinking about doing it, don't do it. It doesn't mean you can go. I just saw a lady the other day at a home goods store. She had her Chihuahua and she's walking around the store. I'm just like, oh, is it? And the lady at the counter goes, she's an emotional support dog. I said, that's not a thing, right? That's not a thing. It doesn't exist. So I do apologize to anybody who watched that original video and was arguing back and forth. I didn't really argue with people that they were giving good information. I understand, and I read into it. I took the video down a long time ago now. I was wrong. So I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. So I do apologize for that misinformation. And it wasn't even really so much, I'm not trying to give an excuse, but it wasn't really so much I was misleading or misinforming people. I think people just got the wrong idea about the context of the video. So, here I am apologizing. So that's where I'm at with it now. It's not a thing. If you want to take your dog on an airplane, you're not going to be able to do that with this card. They're going to turn you down. You have a service dog, that's different. Service dogs and people who need service dogs, respect their needs for that, and respect that these dogs are highly trained, and don't take advantage of. If you have emotional support dog and you got a letter from a doctor and you think you can just go walk around in anywhere with your dog, that's bullshit. And the only thing you're doing is affecting the people who really need that. So there are people who have serious handicap and medical conditions that really need service dogs. And when you take advantage of these situations with these support dogs, these emotional support dogs, you're putting that at risk for those people who need it. So anybody who got offended by that video, I apologize. I'm here to clear that up. And, that's part of life. We learn and we grow together. This channel has always been about comments. I always take constructive criticism seriously, as long as it's, constructive and it helps us learn and grow. We can only be better. I'm only a human being. I only make mistakes like everyone else. So that's what I got. And like I said, I apologize. So that's the end of this video. Me and Storm are going to, enjoy a little bit of B-roll here at the end of Storm and her flashiness in all her glory. Dog. She's an American blue-nosed bully dog, and she is awesome. She's my best friend, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like, share, subscribe. As always, Patreon link will be below, and please do not waste your money on these emotional support dogs. If you want to get your dog into an apartment building, go see your doctor. Most apartments will do this. They'll go, hey, here's the information you need to fill out. Go to the doctor, get this filled out properly. Done deal. That's all you need to do. You're not going to get some cards. You're not going to get all this shit, jazz bullshit. So that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you like it. Again, I apologize, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you all. Peace.